Right now, somewhere in a museum drawer, there's a bone. It's small, smaller than your hand, dark, worn, cracked with age. If you saw it sitting on a table, you'd walk right past it. You wouldn't give it a second glance. But that bone, that single fragment of one ancient woman, it rewrote everything we thought we knew about who we are, where we came from, and how the entire human story actually happened. Because for the longest time, we believed our history was a clean, simple line. One species, one path, one winner, us. And then this woman's bone showed up and shattered that whole idea into pieces. So here's the real question. Who was she? And how did a single finger bone from a girl who died tens of thousands of years ago end up changing the history of the entire human race? Now, before we get into it, real quick, if you're the kind of person who loves this stuff, the mysteries, the wait, that actually happened moments, do me one tiny favor. Hit that like button. Seriously, it takes 1 second, and it genuinely helps this little channel grow. And if you're new here, subscribe. I dig up stories exactly like this one every single week. You don't want to miss what's coming next. Trust me. Okay, back to the bone. Our story starts in a place that sounds like something out of an adventure movie. A cave, high up in the mountains of Siberia. Cold, remote, tucked away in the middle of nowhere. It's called Denisova Cave. Now, this cave is special. People had been living in it on and off for hundreds of thousands of years. Neanderthals stayed here. Modern humans stayed here. It's basically an ancient apartment building that never got torn down. And in 2008, a team of archaeologists is digging through the dirt on the cave floor. Careful, slow, brushing away layer after layer of time. And they find it, a tiny piece of bone, just the tip of a pinky finger. Honestly, it's not much to look at, just a fragment. They almost couldn't tell what it was. But here's the thing about tiny bones. Sometimes the smallest ones hold the biggest secrets. Because that little finger bone was about to answer 4 huge questions. 4 mysteries that had been haunting scientists for years. Who was she really? Was she even human like us? Did her people ever meet our people? And are they still with us today, right now, hiding in plain sight? One by one, that bone answered all 4. So let's go through them, because each answer is wilder than the last. Start with the obvious one. Who did this bone belong to? At first, everyone assumed the easy answer. It's Siberia. It's cold. It must be a Neanderthal, right? They were the tough, cold-weather humans everyone knew about. Case closed. But the scientists didn't just guess. They did something incredible. They pulled DNA out of that bone. And you have to understand how insane that is. This bone was tens of thousands of years old. Getting readable DNA out of something that ancient? That's like finding a note in a bottle that's been at the bottom of the ocean for a lifetime, and the ink's still perfect. So they read the code, and the results came back, and nobody could believe it. It wasn't a Neanderthal, and it wasn't a modern human either. It was something else, something nobody had ever seen before, a brand new kind of human. They named them after the cave, the Denisovans. Think about that for a second. A whole group of ancient humans, an entire people, and we never even knew they existed until one girl's pinky finger told us. Okay, so she's a new type of human, but how human was she really? This is where it gets fascinating, because the Denisovans weren't some primitive grunting cavemen from a cartoon. Not even close. At that same cave, researchers found other clues, tools, delicate, carefully made objects, and get this, a bracelet. A polished stone bracelet made with such skill and precision that some scientists think it may be one of the oldest pieces of jewelry ever discovered. Stop and picture that. Someone, tens of thousands of years ago, sat down and made something just because it was beautiful. That's not survival. That's culture. That's a mind that thinks about art, about meaning, about wanting to look nice. So no, she wasn't some distant, dumb ancestor. She was smart. She was creative. She had a world, a life, maybe even a sense of style. She was, in every way that counts, one of us. Now, here's where the story takes a turn, a big one. Because once scientists knew the Denisovans existed, they asked the next obvious thing. Did these people ever cross paths with anyone else? With Neanderthals? With modern humans? With us? And the answer came from a different bone entirely. Another fragment found in that very same cave from a young girl. They read her DNA too, and what they found stopped everyone cold. Her mother was a Neanderthal, and her father was a Denisovan. Let that sink in. This girl was a first-generation child of two completely different kinds of human, two separate species. Her parents came from two different branches of the human family, and they had a daughter together. That's not a distant, well, maybe it happened once kind of thing. That's a real family, a real child. Living, breathing proof that these ancient peoples didn't just avoid each other. They met. They lived side by side. They fell in love. They had kids. The human story wasn't one clean line after all. It was messy, tangled, beautiful. All these different kinds of people mixing together all at once. And now the biggest question of all, the one that changes everything. The Denisovans are gone. They vanished long ago. So, does any of this actually matter today? Is this just an old story about people who disappeared? No. And here's the part that gives me chills. Because when those first meetings happened, when Denisovans and our ancestors had children together, a piece of them got passed down and down and down, generation after generation, all the way to right now. If you have family roots in parts of Asia or the Pacific Islands or Australia, you might be carrying Denisovan DNA in your body at this very moment. And it's not just leftover junk. It does something. There's a gene passed down from the Denisovans that helps people survive at extreme high altitude. Up in the mountains of Tibet, where the air is so thin most of us would get sick just standing there, people thrive. And a big reason why? A gift handed down from an ancient people who died out thousands of years ago. So they're not really gone. Not completely. They live on. Inside millions of people walking around today. Maybe even inside you. That tiny girl in the cave has descendants, and they never even knew it. So now step back. Look at the whole picture. One bone, one pinky finger, from one girl who died in a cold Siberian cave. And look at everything it gave us. It gave us a lost species we never knew existed. It gave us proof that different kinds of humans loved each other and built families together. And it gave us a piece of ourselves we didn't even know we were carrying. Before that bone, we thought we were the end of a simple story, the last ones standing, the only ones who mattered. After that bone, we understood the truth. We're not the end of one line. We're the blend of many, a mix of different peoples, different journeys, all folded into one. That little girl didn't just change a page in a textbook. She changed the whole book. She changed who we think we are. And now think about where that bone is tonight, sitting quietly in a museum, in a drawer, behind glass, small, cracked, easy to miss. You could walk right past it and never know, never guess that this one tiny fragment holds an entire lost world inside it, a whole people, a love story between two species, and a living thread that reaches all the way down to somebody alive today. She was just one girl. She probably never traveled far from that cave. She had no idea that thousands of years after she was gone, we'd be speaking her name, rewriting our history because of her. She didn't know she'd matter, but she does, more than she ever could have imagined. And that's the strangest, most beautiful part of all this. Sometimes the biggest secrets in the universe aren't hiding in the stars. They're hiding in the smallest, quietest little bone, just waiting for someone to finally listen.